George of the jungles. Do. Hey, hi guys. Cut that. So, how's it going? This is the first video I've done in months now, since the studio had kind of reopened. So, I thought I'd have a little bit of an instructional video, how to create some silk screens and some screen printing using this glorious sunshiny weather that we've got currently going on. Maybe not this weekend, but now it is. So what we've been doing, guys, at the studio, we've started up doing some silk screen printing, and it's been quite fun to do. So I thought I'd have a couple of videos. I know that people ask, can we do screen printing, or why don't we do as much screen printing? Short answer is, it takes forever. It's a long process, but a really good one and really rewarding one to be doing, because you can say multiple screens you can get off it. You can print them onto paper, you can print it onto bags and t-shirts and things like that, so you can get your art or your wonderful artwork printed up and kind of worn, and yeah, that. So what I'm going to do is this is probably going to be in 2 parts, maybe 3 parts, hopefully 2. We don't want it to be too long and elongated for you guys to watch, but it comes in a few different steps. So we're going to be stretching the screen, which would end up looking like this. These ones you can buy from the shop. I think they come for about anywhere from around between 20 and 30 quid, different sizes. Yeah, and I'm just going to teach you a cheaper way to do so. I've made some frames just out of kind of old scrap bits of wood. You can use old picture frames if it's sturdy enough, and you need your silk screen, which is, well, it's obviously silk, but you can get it from online, and a bigger roll. It won't be that expensive. I can put a link in, or I can show you where it will go. We've got quite a lot in the studio as well, which is quite fortunate. So we can be doing these, or you can be doing these in the studio as your own kind of free time while you're working. If you want to be making some screens, so you can follow this instruction. So all you need is your screen, your silk. You can also I've used organza before. I went into and I just want to use the word haberdashery. I went to the haberdashery, I think it was in town somewhere, maybe Phoenix, and just asked for some cut-offs of organza, and they gave me it for free. Don't quote me on, they'll do that all the time, but I think it was stuff that they weren't going to be using. So this is a great little thing that you can use and create these screens. Okay, so all you need is your frame, your silk, and your staple gun. Now the ones are fancily made here. They haven't used the staples on the outside. Like you say, you're paying for a premium with this one, but this works just as well. It's the same technique. That it's not just stretching screens, it's stretching canvases, which is using the same technique. So what we're going to do is we're going to probably angle down a bit, so you can see what I'm doing. And yeah, we'll get going. Get yourself a cuppa as always. You might need 1 or 2 because this does take a short amount of time. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, you'll not see my face, but you'll be able to. I'm hiding under the shade of this giant fig tree, which is, well, at this point isn't very shady, but it is. So yeah, get yourself your screen and get yourself your staple gun. Okay, and I've cut this to about the size of the screen, leaving a little bit of overhang either side, like so. In fact, I'll put it this way so you can see it a bit better. Okay, so I've got an overhang over each side just so we can start stretching. So the way you do it is you go from, you always do the opposites. Okay, so I'm going to move my cuppa because that's probably going to spill. You start with just piercing down, making sure that your brand new staple gun works, which it obviously doesn't. Troubleshoot, 1 sec. Okay, it just needed a big tug. Okay, so what you're going to do is on each side stick a staple in, and then give it a pull. Okay, which I've just brought to the table. And same on the longer sides. Okay. There we go. And that's the start of it, okay? So you've got a staple on this side, that side, right in the center, this side, and this side. So what you wanted to be doing is pull tight, and then staple just to the left of one of the longer, on one of the longer sides. You then flip it, and then again just to the left of one of the longer sides. Okay, and then to the top. And this goes all the way around, so each side has one to the left. Giving it a good pull every time just to make that screen a lot tighter. Like I say, this works exactly the same with canvases if you're going to make a canvas. So, keep going. So, another to the left of the long side, another to the left of the long side, another to the left of the top, and another left to the bottom. Okay, and as you can see, this is getting tighter and tighter on this side. So you're going to do that all the way around until you get to the corner. Leave the corner, I'll speed it up, and I'll get you to the next point, okay? Okay guys, so what you'll see is you've got a run of staples on one side, going all the way around. Simply what you do is from this point you just do the exact same thing on the other side. So you go to the right, and you will notice that the screen is getting a lot tighter to touch, whereas it's quite flimsy on one side. The other side is quite bouncy, so you can see the difference there. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'll just skip to the next point of curling the edges over. Catch you in a sec, and have fun with your staples. Right, catch you a sec. Okay, okay. So what we've got is we've got our kind of screen pulled all the way across. If you see, it doesn't need to be perfect because you're not going to be seeing it, and we might wrap this round in tape just to give that extra bit more support and strength. So, actually I've missed a bit there. We'll say that it was the last one I needed to do. Okay, so we need to round the corners off quite nicely, okay? So I'll find quite a slack one here. We'll do this side. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your finger, push down, and then you're going to make an angle running across the side of the canvas, like so. Tuck this under, and then loop the top over so it makes a straight line, like so, okay? And then you will just put that in, staple that down, so it makes a lovely straight edge. See that? Okay, so staple that down onto the back, knee messing, and there we go. And we're just going to trim that off with some scissors, and that's, you pretty much do that every corner, and that's your screen made, or your canvas depending on what you're doing. Same process for each one. If you're going to be making a canvas, you'll want to use a primer, which I tend to just use some like white emulsion paint, mix it with some PVA. Probably about, it depends on how strong you want it. I tend to do about 70% emulsion to 30% not canvas, 30% PVA. So it just gives it, like, makes it a bit tighter. But what we're going to do with this is we're going to coat it with a, you can see through it, coat it with a photo emulsion kind of primer, which is going to work for our silk screen printing using the sun. You can use a dark room. If you've got a dark room, and a light box or kind of a UV light, that will work really well. I don't. So I'm going to use a cupboard under the stairs, a dark room. Make sure when I bring it outside I have that covered. I'll show you that in probably the next video or however far we get along with this. And then we're going to use the sun to hopefully to expose the mixture between the photo emulsion and the sensitizer. I'll show you that and talk you through that when we get to that point, which will be pretty soon because I'm going to go get it now. So once you've finished doing this, this side, do the same round the other four, and yeah, then we're ready to prime. Okay, so the thing you'll need next is you're gonna definitely need some protective gloves, some latex-free or latex gloves. That, because you don't want this stuff on your hands because it can get it's a very big irritant. So yeah, protective gloves, protective clothing. I've got my printing jacket there, and you need a squidgy, the photo emulsion primer thing, stuff that goes on it, and you'll need a dark place where no sunlight's going to get to it, to hide it or to let it dry. Usually takes a couple of hours. So okay, catch you soon. This way. Okay, so I'm going to get this jacket on. So what I've got is, you can't even see my face. So what we've got is, we've got this the screen. Okay, I've just lined it with some gaffer tape. It just kind of can make it a little bit like tighter and more taut, and it just makes it kind of just a better screen. I prefer to do that, but you can use glue. The reason I use tape instead of glue was because I'm very impatient and I didn't want to wait for it to dry. But simple wood glue, put a layer around what you've done, just neatens it up a bit, makes it look a bit more suave. So yeah, we've got this. This is our screen. So what I've done is, I've just put a black plastic bag down just because this can be a messy part, and this, like I said before, this stuff is very sensitive to your skin. It's quite it's a few chemicals mixed in, similar to what of a dark room, or what the chemicals you'll tend to use in a dark room to expose photographs. That's going to go on the screen, which is mixed with like a regular emulsion. So I've just put something to raise it there as well. So I'll jump onto the seat and I'll carry on with what you're talking after I show you this. So this is our printing emulsion. We'll cover the names and whatnot. But essentially it looks like this. Dun, 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 moment of truth. It's a really kind of toxic greeny colour. This gets spread onto the screen. You don't have to worry about rushing about at this point because the chemical reaction doesn't start to happen until it gets dry. Just make sure you've got a dry space already and available to jump straight into it, and off to put the screen into to dry, just so it doesn't get exposed to any light. Any light will affect how the screen looks, or how it bites onto the image that you're making. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll show you how to using a squidgy, or you can use kind of any, you can probably paint it on. I've never painted it on, but I tend to use the squidgy to do it. I brought some gloves out here as well. Where are you? Obviously put them somewhere safe in my pocket. So what you're going to do, so how this works, when you get a brand new one of these, you'll get a little tub or a little sachet of sensitizer, which starts that process from happening. So you'll just empty that powdery sensitizer into the photo emulsion, and then it'll start turning that really toxic colour. It starts off as blue and then goes that green colour. And so you mix that up, give it a good shake. I'll probably want to give it a quick shake while I'm here, just to make sure that everything's mixed around. So what you'll need is to button up, because this can be messy. But you want to coat both sides of the screen. You can coat them as well, but with this photo emulsion. So I'm going to work quite quickly here. So you simply going to pour over the top a good dollop, and then pull that through the screen, covering every part of the screen with your emulsion. leaving none of the yellow bits, or depending on what colour mesh you're using, screen mesh, none of that. I've put some, like I said, some raised, just little candles just to raise this up. You can use little blocks of wood to make sure it's not touching the surface of the screen, isn't touching the surface of the table. Okay, and you're just going to be pulling this all over. Might need a little dollop more on this side. I'll flip it and then come back to it. So again, on the inside, pull it across, big dollop, and pull. And see how this is coming through on both sides. All of this wants to be covered. And simply, once you have this covered, should be good to go. Always pulling in one direction. To get a nice even coating over the screen. Okay, so this is going to go live in my cupboard under the stairs in the darkest place I can think of. My soul. Yeah. So I'll just show you before I put it in. Eliminate all those yellow bits, all the screen, and that should be good to go for a couple of hours. Okay. You'll see me walk away now because I can't really turn it off because I'm covered in that ink. So, bye. Okay, guys. So we have those dry enough in the dark space. If you've got like a, I think in the studio what we use is like a blackout curtain. That's just in a cupboard. That works well. Just make sure that nothing's touching the screens. I'd take you into short, but then I have to put a light on, and I don't have a light for a dark room. So yeah, so you can just make sure that they're not exposed to any light, that they've not got anything, nothing resting against them to kind of ruin the solution that you put over the front. And what you need to do next as well, that's drying, it's probably going to be about an hour or so, maybe a bit longer, just until that's touch dry as it possibly can. Even if you've got a little kind of lump or where the ink or the emulsion might have run, making sure that it's as dry as possible. So if you've got a fan heater that's on it, probably about an hour, maybe a bit longer. If you're just letting it dry naturally, just a couple of hours. The more it's dry, or the more it's left to dry, the safer it is, because you don't want some of the emulsion to come away while you're printing or while you're washing it and printing. So I need to pop and get my new prescription for my specs, so I'll come back with some fancy new specs on. And next part, we need to do some drawing. We need to create what we're going to be printing. Now you can print something off off the computer, but it needs to be on acetate, see-through paper, or any you can do it on a glass. Anything that's really see-through is perfect for this. So I'll catch you probably in the second part of this video, because this is quite rambly now. It's going on a bit, so I'll close this down. We'll do the creating the print next. Okay, I'll creating the screen next. So we'll stretch the screen, emulsioned it up, and ready to go for the next bit. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, just for this first one. Next one I'll be just in a second video. I'll probably just come up straight after this one. So yeah, catch us in a sec. I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for stopping by. Dom out. There's a wall there, I can't do that. Right, catch us in a... Thank you. See you in a bit.